Now I'm going to put it a little bit higher than that because I want the headland to be a little bit more prominent. I've painted this scene a few times. When I say I've painted it a few times, I've not painted it from the same place or not had the same concepts with each painting. But I've got these places that I just go back to, Glencoe being one of them, Skye all the time, I love Skye. Stop talking while I'm doing this bit. What else? Glen Speen. I love going to Glen Speen. I want to exaggerate the height of these because that's the perception when you're there. Any photograph that you take in landscape photography, you do tend to want this wide-angle lens. And what that does is it totally diminishes what's in the distance, but when you're there, you don't perceive it like that. You perceive things in the distance much bigger than a lens will tell you that it is. That's when sometimes with landscape photography people are disappointed with the results, when it's something in the distance that's creating the interest, and it's diminished to almost nothing in a wide-angle photograph. I like the wide-angle approach to my work, purely because I like to describe clouds as if they're passing over your head. I like to describe the ground. I want to describe what's there. I can't do that with a camera. I want to encapsulate someone in the place, and I can do that by describing everything around you. And it's difficult to kind of achieve that and not make it look ridiculous. So a lot of the time I will paint on a square proportion rather than this panoramic one. And that is purely to help the abstraction rather than anything else I think about. If you're painting a landscape on a square proportion, you think less about how you would normally in a landscape. You think more about foreground, background being balanced with the width of a landscape. So that's why a lot of the time I'll paint on a square proportion. Is that straight? That was a question. Is that straight? Yeah, exactly straight. Good. Didn't even have a spirit level for that. Right, okay, so this is the headland. It appears to be right in the middle, just where I told you that I shouldn't put it. But it's not, it's near the bottom. But what it does is it kind of makes this right in the middle. So I've got to be wary about this second peak being the centre of interest. But as you can see from the photo, as you can see from the photo, that this dip in here is coming within my landscape a little bit further left. Now I'm not going to stick to this placing of the sun. I'm probably not going to expose the sun too much, because any time that you get the sun exposed, you get a dazzling effect, and I want to paint details across the whole painting. I don't want to get obsessed with this right towards the sun kind of feel. So I'm gonna play with where I haven't even decided at this stage what to do about that. I possibly, if I place some sort of sun here, now the sun comes down on that side, right across here. It comes from the left and down from the south, and it comes down here, and it would disappear there. So that's the literal place, but it changes throughout the year. So I kind of want an earlier look to this, so I'll probably put something in right about there. Or have my light source in here, not to say that the sun will actually go in. If you observe the landscape like this, where you have a headland, and I'm just painting roughly. You probably think, geez, painting that pretty, you know, without thinking about it too much, but that isn't the edge that will be there at the end of the painting. It's a guideline as to where it is. I'm a big believer that you paint something in by sort of paint your object, and then paint your object behind, and then when you paint this, you define that. So it's all about negative space, really, the difference between things, the background, and the difference between the background and the shape. It relates to another video that I've got online called Painting with Freedom, and it doesn't relate to loose painting. It does kind of, but not in the obvious way that Painting with Freedom title might sound. Painting with Freedom for me is about freeing yourself from the line. So you spend your early days learning how to paint within the lines, and it takes a lifetime to learn how to paint not to. All a line is, drawing's about line, painting's about shape. All a line is it describes the point at which one shape stops and another one starts. And the sooner you can get that into the mindset of painting, you'll be a better painter, because you'll be thinking about shape and you will create your line through the one shape stopping and another shape starting. Edges is everything with good professional loose painting. Edges is everything. Find an edge, lose an edge. The worst thing in the world is a big soft edge painting. I mean, this is pretty much, no, it isn't anymore, but before I put that in, it was all soft edges everywhere. There's nowhere to settle, it's not finished. And equally bad is a painting with hard edges everywhere, unless of course that's the concept. And there may be a concept that makes that work. But with loose gestural painting, we're looking to lose some edges and gain some others. So what I'm creating here is a big hard edge, and I'm doing exactly what I'm saying not to, but it doesn't matter because it's not the edge that will exist at the end of the painting. It's my drawing, if you like, which is being painted in as shapes. Arran finishes there. Who's come a long distance today? Kirkcudbright. Anyone further away than that? Australia? They'll all be familiar with this view, maybe not today, but that's basically it. Now what I do want to, and what I should have done here is make it taller than it really should be, because I'm going to eat into that line. So I'm just going to bring up the scale. That's a very pointed bit there. I didn't get it quite tall enough first time. I didn't get the dip there. I'll get that later. There's a ridge here. This is brown, it's not even a colour, it's going to be not even anything like the colour. But what it is warmer than the colour that I'm going to put on top, which is fine. Keeps the warmth of the evening sun. It's good doing a painting like this because this is pretty much the only drawing involved. The only intricate part that you need to get details right. And I'm saying a pencil grip is a detail grip, and I'm kind of doing details, but I'm keeping myself from getting too bogged down with detail. If you get details wrong at the start of a painting, you're so unable to get rid of it. You're so unable to make changes. You spent 2 hours doing that little house. I'm not going to change that. It's in the wrong place. Tell yourself it's in the wrong place and get rid of it. But it's so much easier to do that if you leave the house to the end. You won't know where to put that. I've got a little house here somewhere behind my bad printer. And I may or may not put that in. I will probably not put it in today because I just don't have time to get involved with detail. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to warm up the area beside or nearest where this light's coming. So I'm getting some infused light coming here, so I'm using cadmium orange for that. So at the moment it's just blocking in. For so long, I started landscape painting when I was like 9 or 10, and started by painting some watercolours. Does anyone remember, is he still going, Ron Ransom? Ron Ransom, I got one of these Ron Ransom geeks. Painting watercolours, 9 years old, 10 years old. And I'd love to have a range of brushes out myself. I would get a really, really big fan brush about that size. It's like, you know, to paint really big paintings with. But at the moment, I'm going to have to settle for that one. Okay, so I've warmed up here. This area here is going to be warm. Now, if I've got light source, warmth, interest here, I'm going to have to think very quickly about what is happening at this side of the painting. I need something to happen at this side of the painting. It might be that instead of having it taper up the way at the foreground, I can have it tapering down the way. Ball and chain, release yourself from it, don't follow it exactly, unless it's a commission and it's someone's house and exactly. No, that's definitely right a bit. Artistic licensing is a great thing. As soon as you realise your photo reference is rubbish, you'll be a better painter.